I'll be real, y'all. I won't lie. Today's video was supposed to be something completely else. Today's video was actually supposed to be one of those videos where I talk about a bunch of different things that have kind of piqued my interest around the league. I'm consuming so much basketball to start the season that there's just so many things that are just running through my mind at all times that I want to talk about. And they're not always the most topical things. They're not always the most popular conversations that are happening around our association or on social media. But damn it, I still want to talk about it. So be on the lookout for a series that I'm probably going to start called NBA Yap Session, where I'm just allowed to do that, just have a scatterbrain approach about all of these random different things that I'm seeing and that I want to talk about. And I know a lot of y'all, some of y'all going to enjoy it and probably feel the same way. So look out for that. But today's topic, as you can tell by the title, Bam Adebayo on the Heat, it was one of the things that was going to be a part of that video until I kind of dug deeper and deeper and deeper and realized, hey, this probably is going to actually need a video on its own. And I'll start with just saying first, the Miami Heat is not a team that I had like astronomical expectations for. And I didn't have astronomical expectations for their offense either. I just want to start by saying that. I also want to say for Miami Heat fans, Bam Adebayo fans, or whatever, we're only 4 games into the season, and I'm very well aware of that. We have 70 plus games left. We have a lot of basketball left. So by any means, do I think this is like guaranteed to stay happening? I'm not here to write the Heat off. I'm not here to write Bam Adebayo off. But at the same time, the approach I'm having with this season is I only have what's in front of me to assess. And that's what I'm doing, damn it. I don't know if this is going to be a continued theme. I don't know if the next week or two, all of this stuff that I'm about to dive into or speak about will even be relevant. Hopefully not, because I am a Bam Adebayo fan. But it's a talking point. It's something that's interesting, and it's something that's worth to me diving into because it's leaving me confused, and I don't think I'll be the only one. I think I'll have some comments in this video that's going to say I was wondering the same thing, P, or like what's going on here and there. And to me, it's kind of about like going at things at the root. So if this will be a problem, let's get to it early. I don't want to be one of those people that looks into what's going on around the league a month or two into the season. Like, oh man, I didn't notice Bam out of bite. Like, no, I noticed. I'm noticing. I'm 4 games in. I'm noticing. I'm locked in on everything. I see this. This is a problem. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Let's talk about it. I'm going to set the scene. The Miami Heat, again, I thought could have like an underrated type offense. I even think I said it on a Numbers on the Board podcast, right? And hear me out. You got a motivated Jimmy Butler, who we can all agree whenever Jimmy Butler has been pissed off, motivated, or kind of counted out, we've gotten like the best version of Jimmy Butler and sometimes one of the better players in the NBA. So I got that feeling that we were going to get that to start the season, and I don't doubt that. He's had a solid start to the year, but it's not the Jimmy Butler that I'm anticipating that will come alive at some point throughout the season because everything that's been going on. We don't know if he's going to come back with the Miami Heat. Pat Riley had his little press conference where he said those things, and the Heat haven't had as much success, and Jimmy Butler's only getting older. He probably can get one more bag. He wants to get paid. So it's about not only proving to the Heat his worth, but to the rest of the NBA that, hey, when free agency happened, hey, I'm Jimmy Butler. I got a little older, but I'm still worth 50 M's a year if you can give me that. There's a lot on this. So I expected and still am expecting that Jimmy Butler to come alive at some point. We also had Olympic Bam in Team USA. He's a gold medalist and he was shooting more threes. And that was a lot of talk about him adding that into his game for the regular season and him being more aggressive offensively. And these things intrigued me with those two guys being your focal point in the Miami Heat's offense. Because when you look at the personnel around them, Duncan Robinson as a 3-point specialist, Tyler Hero with his offensive arsenal. Same thing with Scary Terry, him being a little bit more acclimated with the Miami Heat and knowing his role a little bit more better. Another step for Nikola Jovic, who I felt had a really good year last year and is only going to be better this year. Year 2 of Hami Hackett. There was some things that intrigued me to say, I'm not going to say that this offense is going to be worldly because it won't, but I think it could be sneaky good. And I also add on top of that the context with the Miami Heat and the standings of the Eastern Conference. The rest of the East got better. And I think the Miami Heat is a smart organization. And I think being smart means you're aware. I think the Miami Heat are aware they didn't do anything this offseason. So what way can you capitalize on that as a team that didn't do anything in a conference where a lot of teams did things? Continuity. A lot of these other teams are going to have to get acclimated early on. So my Knicks starting off slow, I look at that as the Miami Heat saying, hey, we need to come out on fire. Like, we need to come out aggressive. We need to look our best version almost at the start of the season so we can make up ground as these other teams kind of get acclimated. You see, the Philadelphia 76ers have not had Joel Embiid and Paul George. A perfect time for the Heat to take advantage. You see the Pacers are going through whatever they're going through. Tyrese Halliburton has been figured out by the NBA. People are saying, take advantage of that. The Knicks got to get acclimated with McHale and Carden. Take advantage of that. And I just feel like they're not. And they're still 2-2. They beat the Hornets. They beat the Pistons. And it's not a god-awful start, but I still find myself being somewhat disappointed. And it's really about Bam Adebayo and his offense. Bam Adebayo is too important. He's way too valuable, and the way it's going or the way it's starting just doesn't make sense to me. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look into some of the things that I've kind of noticed when I was, again, diving deeper and deeper into this issue and this topic. And I do want to say, as I discuss some of these things that I've kind of noticed and realized or found out doing my research, I watched every possession that Bam has been a counter to stat for, whether it's a block shot, a rebound, a foul, a drawn foul, a three-point shot. I've seen it all. So I'm not just talking from a box score perspective. I actually went and did the work and the time to watch and rewatch some of these games, because I watched the first game. We streamed on playback. Make sure every Wednesday you tapped into the numbers on the board, playback streams. Of course, I watched them play against my Knicks last night. And then the other two games, the Hornets and Pistons, I just went and made sure I watched everything Bam had did that game so I can get a legitimate feel of what's going on. I just wanted to put that out there before we dive in, because there are a lot of people who don't watch and try to get that feel of what's actually going on, and they just look at the box score and they'll only tell half the story.
So the first thing we want to look at with Bam is just a clear overview. 11 points per game. Not really concerned about any of these counting stats. We know Bam Adebayo is going to be a productive player. I'm more so am concerned with the field goal attempts, and that's where I'll go here. 40 shots through 4 games is just not enough for a player this important to a team. There's no way I can explain this. There's no way I can make sense of it. I've been trying to, damn near giving myself a couple of headaches, because I can't believe a player of this importance is shooting this low of shots in the first 4 games after all of the context I gave you on the intro on why they need to have a good start to the year and are trying to have a competitive year. This makes no sense to me. If there's anybody that's watching this that can make some type of sense of it, like good sense of it, then let me know. But yeah, 40 shots roughly between these 4 games. And the one thing that I also put into context too is the only game he shot double-digit shots is against the Charlotte Hornets, and he shot 17 shots in that singular game. So if you take those 17 shots away from this, that leads us to 21 shot attempts over 3 games, which is now even worse than 9.5 attempts a game. That's around 7, roughly 7 shot attempts, minus the, as of right now, what would you call that? The anomaly of 17 shot attempts. That's just atrocious. That's just atrocious basketball from the Miami Heat from an offensive side of the basketball perspective. I just won't understand that. The other part that we want to look into is the usage rate of the Miami Heat as a team overall. You will see that Bam Adebayo here is 6th on a team in usage rate, behind the likes of Duncan Robinson. Yes, I know, very surprising, right? Jaime Jaquez as well. Again, very surprising. Terry Rozier, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero. Some of those names I can understand him being around them or close to them in usage rate, but this much of a gap, again, just doesn't make sense for a player of his importance to this team and more so this offense, because he just makes everything click. And if you look at last year's numbers, Tyler Hero at 27%, Rozier at 25%, and Bam and Jimmy both 25% respectfully. To me, this is the number for Bam. There is not a time where Bam should really be any lower than this, in my honest opinion. He should always be around 25. 25 to 18, 19 is too much of a drop-off. I have no problem with a guy like Tyler Hero being above him, or even Terry Rozier, right? Because naturally they are guards. I would argue that he should be number 1. That's just the way that I would do it if I was over there running things. But I can get this. I can understand this. I can make some sense of it. When I go to the current year, is where I kind of lose my understanding of what's going on here. Just because of everything Bam Adebayo offers. I said it in the intro. I think Bam is one of the most versatile players in the league. The only thing you can nitpick with his game is the three-point shooting. That's kind of literally it. Bam does everything else on an above average level. And some of those things he is top tier, second to none in. So I just don't get it. Moving on to really back to the shot profile. We talked about the shot attempts, the small amount of them. What I want to go to next is the breakdown of what he does when he is shooting the basketball, the very rare times he's shooting the ball. Again, I watched all of these shot attempts and everything, so I've also seen them and seen them play out, and it gives you just a little bit more context when you can visually see what's going on versus just reading it from a stat sheet. But the number one thing that should jump out to you is the frequency. So the frequency right now, we're going to say the frequency is our pie. I'm going to just try to break it down in the simplest terms for people. Our frequency is our pie. You know, a pie has 10 slices, we'll say. So if you look at this year's numbers, majority of the pie is going to catch and shoot. Why on earth would majority of the pie go to catch and shoot for Bam Adebayo? I have no idea. Even in a year where you want to see more shooting, especially from three or really from three, you want to see more aggression there. Even in that sense, I still can't make sense of it, because if you look at a year like last year, Bam Adebayo's majority of the pie went to less than 10 feet. Shots that were less than 10 feet is what he lived on. And that's what his career should look like, because that's where his bread and butter is. And he shot 60% there, and that was the most effective and efficient shot for Bam Adebayo. And why would we ever go away from that? It went from being almost 60% of the pie. Almost 6 of those slices went to this one thing. And now we kind of chopped that pie in half, and now it's only getting 3 slices, and it's not even the main I don't even know the word. It's not the corporate or whatever of taking the slices. You know what I mean? It's not even the main person. Yeah, it's just again, head scratching. Excuse me, I can't even get my words out because I'm so like mind blown with some of this stuff. Catch and shoot. And then the thing for me is, like, even when we are trying to grow our game and look at different things in such an analytical driven association right now, or game right now, it's like nobody's looking at these numbers and saying, hey, maybe we should do some different shit. You have all of these numbers that y'all say y'all are obsessed with and y'all use, and like nothing's changed. I know it's only 4 games, but even with 4 games, I'm like, hey, all right, let's chill on this catch and shoot shit. It's not working. Like, let's relax on that. Let's get our asses as close to the rim as possible. Not forever, but until your touch on the jump shot starts to fall, we need to make sure that we are putting ourselves in the best position to be successful. And 69% of the time, almost 70%, when you are less than 10 feet away from the basket, good things are happening for our team. So let's drive home that. And then I would double down on it by saying, hey, last year kind of resembled the same thing. When the closer you were to the basket, the more efficient and the more better we had of scoring the basketball. I'm not an old head that's trying to convince y'all that all of this shit has to disappear. That's not what I'm saying. But when you have a bread and butter, you have to go to that bread and butter. The bread and butter is there because it's, if everything falls apart, I have that. And right now, some things have fallen apart. The jump shooting is just not there for Bam Adebayo. I'll prove it. You go down here, you look at his field goal attempts, almost 80%, or excuse me, almost 70% of Bam Adebayo's shooting. Well, over 70%, not even almost. 70% of his shooting or his shots have come open in some way. Open or wide open. 70% of his shots. And these are the results that we're getting. He is 1 of 7 on these looks from wide open, which is kind of mind-blowing. He's completely wide open. You look at the definition that they have for these opening ratings, right? 6+ feet, a defender that far away, you're wide open. Between 4 and 6 feet, you're just open. And he's had a bunch of these looks. He shot 27 of these shots that are considered open. And it's not even just the threes. You know what I mean? I mean, some of these shots are wide open from the mid too. 1 of 3 here, and then 0 of 4 there. just completely wide open shots he's just missing. And again, it's a very small amount, but it's still kind of concerning that you're missing legitimately wide open shots. Your touch just kind of ain't all the way there. And then all of these field goals here, only 4 of these are 3-point shots. The rest are these mid ranges. He's making these. He's making the open shots. And then we know close to the rim what he's going to do. We're not even accounting that. But then these tight shots, he ain't doing too bad on. But some of the touch is just not there on the jump shooting. And that's where the pull-up shot is at right here, where you're getting a 30% shooting on pull-up shots. And 9 of them, a majority of them, is twos. Those are the shots. And that's the part where the film comes into play. Bam Adebayo can shoot the mid-range. We just saw the numbers. Even last year, they're going to resemble the same things. Like the pull-up shooting here is a lot better than the 30%, but boom. I mean, where do we start? The closest defender, the tight shots. I mean, wide open shots, he shot the ball a lot better. Effective field goal percentage, 56%. Mid-range twos where he was wide open, almost 53%. He made more than half of them. The open, he made more than half. Even against tight coverage, he was making these shots. So the jump shot is going to come back. But until it does, we have to figure out what's the bread and butter, and that's here. My main thing, though, when I watched the film was like when Bam Adebayo faces resistance. When he faces some resistance, he kind of bails the defense out. And what I mean by resistance is there's times throughout these games, and I also want to say in all 4 of these games, Bam Adebayo, in my opinion, has had the favorable matchup. Against the Orlando Magic, I'm taking Bam Adebayo over in the Wendell Carter matchup. I'm taking Bam Adebayo in the Nick Richards matchup. I'm taking Bam Adebayo against Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart. I'm taking Bam Adebayo offensively in a matchup where he's guarded by Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm taking these matchups any day of the week. I'm taking them. And to go back to the resistance part, he'll have these situations where he catches the ball in a block or in the mid post and he's facing up, and the minute the defense bumps him or cuts him off from driving or whatever he's trying to do, he bails him out by just resulting in a jump shot. And again, it's not that he can't make these shots. It's just that shot is going to be there. There's a possession against the Detroit Pistons where he's being guarded by Isaiah Stewart, and he gets the ball in the post. He faces up. He shoots. He doesn't try to jab, head fake, go around him. There is no in and out, cross into a dunk, or no. He just catches it, faces, and shoot. To me, that is bailing out the Pistons. Isaiah Stewart is at your mercy, Bam, because you have the footwork, you have the handle, you have the threat of the mid-range jump shot. You're stronger, you're bigger. This is one of the rare times in the league where you're bigger than your matchup. Bam is a smaller center, so majority of the times he's going against centers that are bigger than him. This is one of the rare times where you have somebody finally smaller than you on you, and you can abuse this in some sort of way, in my opinion. And the fact that you didn't even try, I feel like it's what bails out the defense. And you have to really stop bailing them out when you see you don't have it going with your touch right now. You may have to work your way into the rhythm of the season before your shot starts to fall the way you want to. Against the Hornets, he took 17 shots, like I continue to say, and a lot of those shots were just like bailing the team out. Of just bailing Nick Richards out by just shooting and shooting and shooting. And I know he was getting frustrated because he kept taking the shot, because I feel like he wanted to prove that I can make these. Like, why am I missing it? You know, as a basketball player, that happens when you're just missing these shots. And I'm sure he feels it more than he sees it on a stat sheet of him being open or wide open. And he knows these are shots historically that he has made. And I understand the frustrations that come with it. But he is such, again, an important player to this team that good things will happen when he gets to his bread and butter. The attention he's going to draw from defenses, getting to the free throw line, making life easier for himself. You know what I mean? This is common sense. And I feel like we're in a time right now with the bigs and the big position where the three-point shot is just so much of an allure that it kind of messes with our psyche and some of the players' psyche. Historically, no matter what position you are, if you're not making jump shots, go get an easy one at the basket because it's close. If you're a guard who can shoot, go get a layup. It's right there. You're going to make it, see the ball go through. If you don't get the layup, you probably get fouled, go to the free throw line, see the ball go through. That's like elementary stuff. But too many times in the league today, I'm seeing big struggle, and they go further away from the rim. I just seen Victor Wembanyama do it like on several different occasions where he just can't get to where he wants to get to, or he's struggling and he just results in just pulling threes. It's just like I don't understand what we're doing here, and that's a whole different conversation for a whole separate video. Vic and everything that's been going on there to start the season with the Spurs, but just even with Bam, like again. I don't want to make it sound like I'm saying he can't take these shots. He shouldn't take these shots. He's incapable of taking these shots. He's made these shots throughout the course of his career. But for this team and this season right now, or in going forward, this is never going to be an issue. This is never going to be an issue. And you got 13 of these through the course of 4 games. You know what I mean? That's like three shots at the basket a game. That's too low for a guy that's doing this well. It's too low for a guy that's doing that's shooting the ball this well. And that's just my main thing. I've seen it in every single game where he's facing up off a mid-range touch, a mid-post touch, a post-up touch that turns into a face-up. Once the defense says, hey, I'm going to defend you and I'm not going to let you get to where you want to go to easily, he's like, okay, I'll just take this tough-ass mid-range shot that is not falling this season. But, hey, it's there. But it's like you can get that shot anytime you want. It's the same thing I say about these young scoring guards who get the ball, come off the screen, and just shoot the three. It's like that shot is always going to be there. Make the defense have to play mind games. Make them have to think through what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Make them know that you're not afraid to turn that corner and get to the basket. Put some pressure on them. Make the defense collapse and pass and let them know you're a willing passer. So now the defense is at your mercy. You know what I mean? You're coming off that screen, you turn in the corner, and then you pound, dribble, stop at the three-point line and pull up from 3. Oh, shit. Or you step back. Oh, shit. Now, the greatest scorers in the game, that's what they have. A bag. They have weapons. They have, different things that they can go to that puts the defense at their mercy. And that's when you pick your poison. If he's playing me too close, I go around him. If he's giving me space, I splat out him. If the defense is trying to help each other and collapse on me to stop me from doing what I want to do and I'm seeing bodies, now I weaponize my teammates and make you pay there. Now you just mind fucked. Now you just at the mercy of whatever I want to do. I think Bam Adebayo couldn't be a guy like that. Maybe not to the Luka or the Shades of the world, Anthony Edwards, not at that level because he's not a guard. But as a big who's a point center at times, with some of these weapons that he has and floor spacers and scoring guards and cutters and different things like that, he's a guy that could get the ball and have the defense at his mercy with a lot of these matchups that I'm seeing where they're like, shit, what do we do? And now when you're doing a dribble handoff with Tyler Hero or Scary Terry or Jimmy Butler and they got it going, now it's really tough. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I continue to scratch my head at the usage. That's why I continue to scratch my head when I watch some of these possessions and he's just floating around. There's certain possessions it don't seem like he know where to be or other guys know where to be. It's so clunked up sometimes and whatnot. It just needs to be simplified, I feel like. And it needs to be through him. If I was the head coach of this team, which I'm not here to suggest that I'm anywhere near a Eric Spoelstra. I'm not even a coach. But just when I watch it, I think they would benefit from just being a little bit more simplified and going through him. To me, he is one of the surest options that they have on the floor of making a proper decision, the right decision, and also just throwing enough at the defense to get easy shit going. Because it's Tyler Hero, as good as he is, doesn't have as much to offer as Bam on that way. You know what I mean? It's just not as like he's going to score. He can be a better tough shot maker. He can create his own shit off the dribble at times. And when he's really got it going, he's dicing up the defense and making a proper decision. But Bam, because he plays so close to the rim, because he can give you the handoffs, because he has the mid-range game, because he could be a live threat, because he can get the board and bring it up himself and create mismatch. Now it's cross-match and whatever. That is just way more lethal than Tyler Hero in his perimeter scoring, in my opinion. It just is. And I look at Bam as an offensive hub, and I think a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, when the dots connect, it will open up so much for the offense and allow them to be the team that I think that they want to be and set them up to have as much success as possible. But until then, we're going to continue to be frustrated. We're going to continue to be confused, and they're going to continue to just be like this middle of the pack, we don't know what's going on type team. And we're years in now. This isn't like Bam in his third or fourth year where we're talking about these aggression things. This is it. And I do get a little concerned because of that. Like, is it in him to be that guy? I know he's capable of it. I know the skill set says he can do it, but does he want to do it? And does he understand who he is on a basketball court? And if not, somebody in the Miami Heat organization need to wake him up and let him know. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Am I bugging? Have you seen the same things? What's your thoughts? Is there any other things around the league that you're seeing and noticing that's kind of like this that you think should be put on my radar and I should go look into? Even if it isn't anything that needs to be made into a video, let me know. Because like I said, I'm consumed with all basketball, and I love to know when I see certain things that I'm not the only one seeing it. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I'm Pee Wee the Plug. I will see y'all in the next video. I'm out. Peace.